Well, hello there. My name is Dad.
I'm Morgan.
FKS here.
You're so funny.
Which means Father knows something.
It gives me just such a cringe when you are in person meeting people and you're like, I'm Father knows something. It's like,
I don't do that.
Oh my God. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Really?
It's cringy. It's a little cringy for me.
Really?
A little bit. But,
Really?
if it makes other people happy, that's what really matters. So let us know.
So let us know if you've had that experience with me and if it was creepy, cringy.
I didn't say creepy. Cringe.
Cringe. Let me know let's see what your feelings are out there. Because I only know something. I don't know everything.
That one too. You use quite a bit. I think we need to mix something else up into the arsenal.
Well, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know nothing.
Does Boomer know best?
Will you be the boomer?
I'm not a boomer. You're a boomer.
Oh, I am a boomer. No, Boomer does not know best. Boomer is...
That's the question that we're going to start posing. Does Boomer know best?
Boomer only knows something.
There we go.
And it's not Boomer. I'm Dad. I'm Father.
You're just kind of a boomer, though.
She's weird. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Father Knows Something.
Does Boomer know best?
Today, I called Morgan on the phone. So she wanted to hang up. I mean, we were done talking. And I said, say goodbye, Dad. And she wasn't doing it. I go, I'm not hanging up till you say goodbye, Dad. And she did it. She did actually say, bye, Dad. And I go, oh, that was so nice.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Gotta toss you a bone here and there.
And I'll just sit there and just jump up and bite it.
Oh my God. What socks are you wearing today?
Dirty ones.
Well, you got to show everyone. They look like little pie pieces. We have pumpkin.
There's cheesecake thing in there. There's birthday.
Apple, blueberry.
It's all good stuff.
Pecan crumble. Yeah, looks like I'm craving pie now.
Oh, good. So I've been working at home a little bit on those stretching exercises.
Good. You want to do a check-in?
No.
Toe touch check-in?
Not yet, but next week we will.
Yet. Okay. Well, let's get into the theme then.
Okay. You have a theme?
I do have the theme.
Well, tell me the theme you're holding back.
So we've done breakups before, but we've never done DTD.
Oh, DDD. I thought you were going to say breakups and then getting back togethers. I wonder if any of those are out there where they did break up and they got back togethers and how those work.
Let us know if you have one of those where you're thinking about getting back together with an ex. Write us in. Let's do that. But
meanwhile,
no, we've never done dump the dude or dump the dame.
DTD.
We've never done a dump 'em theme. So
this is DTD.
Mm-hmm. Dame or dude, whatever one
applies.
Dump the
dame, dump the dude.
But it's got a question mark at the end, right? Because we don't want to really tell someone to dump their partner if they're not ready. You have to come to that to yourself. But we all might question it.
But we've done that. I've actually said, we've been at shows. And
I know.
And I've yelled out at the show, dump that DDD. And everyone in the crowd goes, dump the dude.
Sometimes I just feel a little bad afterwards. And I don't know. I don't want to ever be like, that's my way or the highway. I like to just, it's one take. That's and you take it from there.
We just give a thought. That was really the concept here. We give you a thought, but dump the dude. Dump the dame.
Okay, let's hear these write-ins.
Story number 1.
Okay. Trigger warning on this one, you guys. It does contain talks of an abusive relationship. It could be a difficult one to listen to if you've had any toxic, unhealthy relationships. Hello, everyone. Thank you for everything you do. Sorry for the long submission. I've been best friends with Les for the past 15 years. She is such a light in my life and the most wonderful person I know. She is in a relationship with an older man. They've been together about a year, but friends long before that. She started off really happy, but as time went on, we started seeing red flags. He has been cheated on and is really insecure. He is convinced every time she goes out, she is cheating on him. She is so in love with him and looks up to him. Sometimes I'm with her when he accuses her of cheating. It's at the point now where she is constantly stressed about what he thinks of her interactions with all men, including her boss. She's bi, but he doesn't worry about women. He's called her names and broken up with her 3 times because he doesn't believe her. He talks about the many hookups he's had, but gets mad if she even says a person is attractive. He's secretly gone through her phone and has her questioning her own reality. When I try to tell her that's not okay or say anything too negative about him, she backtracks and tells me that everything else in the relationship is good. I can see now that he is emotionally abusive, and I just want her to break up with him, but she keeps going back. I miss how carefree she used to be. I'm so angry at him, but I don't want to push her away. How can I best support her? Ideal outcome, I want her to break up with him and go back to being her beautiful, adventurous self, but I know leaving an abusive relationship is really hard. Additional info, they met when he was 30 and she was 19. He's a musician and everyone in the community loves him. I've always had a bad feeling about him, but I'm seriously the only one.
Well, you obviously see something that she's not seen. And unfortunately, she's got to come to terms to really realize where control is. And the insecurity is nowhere going to be a healthy relationship as they go forward. It turns into this evil demon that's even far superior of a demon than it is today. When you talk to her and you say you have to break up, or if you're pushing too hard, she's going to resist. You push, she's going to brace herself. So you got to have to, kind of Jedi mind trick her in a way that she can see it as she says it. And in her own mind, she sees where the control problem, the insecurity is, because we all see it. I mean, if your story is exactly the way it's happening, I believe you. But I'm not the one that's going to make up excuses because I'm in love with somebody or think I'm in love with somebody. I went through this in a relationship, and somebody told me the person that I was crazy about wasn't cheating. And every sign showed all my friends that she was. And I ignored it. I chose to be blind to it and believe her. You just need to be able to be there as she's going through it and be able to get the message without pushing her to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can point things out to her, but I don't know if it's showing other things. Look, I get the fact that that we say that he's insecure and that he was cheated on, but a lot of people project, and maybe it's something that he's still doing on his own that we're not even sure about, that there's other things going on. But he's definitely has a control behavior, and going through her phone and everything else is just insanity.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you don't want to push her away. I would be very curious if you looked at, domestic violence resources or abuse hotlines, if you could find resources that kind of help guide you as a friend of someone who's stuck in a relationship like that. It's something we've talked about quite a bit, but it can take 7 attempts to leave. He keeps breaking up with her. But I think sometimes that can make you want someone more. When someone pushes you away and you're in this toxic cycle, like them saying goodbye can almost make you, oh, well, he's not blah, 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 because he's breaking up with me. I'm the problem. It can kind of make you want them more, I think. And so I think you as the friend need to just continue to offer your support, ensure that she knows you are there for her. And if it were me and my friend, I think I would try to talk less about how bad he is, but more so things that she can recognize within herself. Like, hey, you seem a little bit more stressed than usual. Are you okay? You don't seem as happy as you used to be. More so things that she can realize that she can change, or maybe she can correlate to this relationship, but not continuously knocking this dude.
How about reinforcing her as a person and how great she is?
Absolutely. You deserve better.
Or no, that
you deserve the best.
I see guys looking at you and you're just you're blind to them.
I don't know if you need to like point out other parties like that, because that might make her just like reconfirm in her head, like, oh, he does have something to worry about. These guys are looking at me. Because now she's evaluating every relationship with a man, including her boss, because of how he's made her feel. It's her fault. It's her problem. So I don't know if I would do that, but I would really point out, you deserve better. You deserve such a good supporting partner and great communication. Like, you're such a good friend and a good partner and a good person. You know, you deserve to be really happy. I would continuously try to build her and her confidence up and make sure she knows she does deserve happy, healthy, good love. Everyone does.
Absolutely.
If this sounds familiar to you, you deserve it. You deserve to be happy and not stressed every day about your relationship.
I would just like to try to figure a way that you can show what a healthy relationship looks like and how their relationship is so unhealthy. And it doesn't get better when this goes on. This behavior that he has is going to continue to get to be there and get worse. And she has to see it on a third dimension. So she can recognize it to see what it really looks like, even if it's somewhere else or a movie that this is going on or somewhere where she can pick it up without you being the one to point it out to her, because it becomes, all she does is become defensive. You know, you pointed out, she just, again,
backtracks.
She just, right.
Yeah.
So you really got to get somebody else that where she can see it on her own and recognize it and say, wow, this is really.
Yeah. I think you can point out that the behavior isn't okay, but you don't want to tie it necessarily to him and him being a piece of shit. You being controlled or having your phone gone through isn't okay. That's not healthy, but it doesn't necessarily tie to him. Mm-hmm. He's such a piece of shit. You need to leave him. It's more so about the behavior and the fact she deserves better.
That's right.
That's how I would play it. I'm not a therapist. I'm not trained in this sort of thing. So this is just me spitballing here.
And let's just go back and keep saying that when you say that it's not going to get better. It just gets worse. That might be the beginning where she might start digesting when she sees how bad it is. When she's having one of these moments, you can say, this is what it is. This is what you're picking. And that's the way I would really, present it. This is what you're picking. And that in its own is really giving the message without saying, you got to dump the dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just really try to just strengthen your relationship, get her out of the house, do things, and just continue to point out how great she is. Mm-hmm. The behavior isn't okay. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Things like that. Really more of the introspective stuff without even touching on him, because I think deep down maybe she knows. Mm-hmm. And then she's maybe not telling you stuff now because she doesn't want to have to defend him or have you think poorly of him.
Or defend herself.
So just try to keep it as open as possible and take care of yourself too. Practice some good self-care because it's hard being that person as well. So.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously she's got to dump him. But it's how can we get her to realize?
I think, again, just keep pointing out, is this what you really want? This is what you're picking.
Yeah, the age gap when they met is very concerning. If she would have been 17 or 18, people would have called it grooming. I don't think the fact that she was 19 and he was 30 changes that. To me, I think he still really manipulated her, and it's
bad.
But again, don't point that out to her because she might not be ready to take it in. But okay, moving along.
Okay, we're going to go for number 2.
Hey, Dad. I, 23 female, have 3 best friends, 24 female, and 31 female. I've been friends with these girls for a year. I would wholeheartedly call these girls my best friends, and they are the only friends I really have. We talked every day, had our own group chat, and went on various trips together. The issue started 1 month ago. We all planned to get our nails done. I helped reserve a spot for all 4 of us, And after our appointment, I asked if we were going to do anything later that day, as a normal Saturday usually resulted in all of us going to one of our houses. They insinuated that they didn't really make any plans, and so we all went our own ways. Around 6 p.m. that night, my boyfriend and I were laying in bed, and I saw that they had posted on their Snapchats. To my surprise, they all went and got matching tattoos without me. Immediately, I FaceTimed one of them to see what they were up to, and the call was just very short, and I felt very snubbed. About an hour goes by, and they post the results. Their matching tattoo was an abbreviated NMW, meaning no matter what, no matter when, no matter why. So, as you can imagine, my feelings are pretty hurt. But what hurts the worst is that they have been radio silent since that day. No group chat, no hangouts, no weekend dinners. I am so lost and so hurt. And it isn't like I can avoid them. 2 of the girls are dating my boyfriend's brothers. So family functions, group activities, etc. all include some sort of interaction. Dad, I need advice. I don't know what to do. Some people say I need to be the bigger person and approach them. Some say to just get over it. But I'm feeling so rejected by the people that I loved the most, and it's opening up a lot of old wounds. Ideal outcome. I'm not really sure what my ideal outcome is or what to expect. In a perfect world, this wouldn't have happened. But the reality is, it's real. I just simply do not know how to deal with this type of situation and the rejection attached to it. I know these girls. They've never been mean to me. But now I'm starting to think I must not know these girls at all.
Well, the answer is simple. Confrontation. Ask them. Point blank. Why would you guys... You posted it. You obviously wanted me to see it if you posted it. And I just want to know why you wanted to hurt me. And when you tell somebody, why would you want to hurt me? That makes them really in a position where they have to come up with an answer. And that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think I would probably approach the one that you're the closest with. Clearly something happened here. You don't just lose 3 friends overnight. So, I mean, I would reach out and I'd be like, hey, like, I'm just kind of at a loss. I thought we were all really close. Like, did I do something? Did I offend you guys? Like, what happened? Because for us to go from, 4 best friends to I haven't talked to any of you in a month, I'm kind of at a loss for this. I think sometimes we can be blind to our own faults, our own things. And it can be hard to see. Maybe you're not picking up on social cues. Maybe you're not respecting their boundaries. I recently went through something with a friend, and I have just been dealing with my own stuff. I've just been not in a great place, probably the past year, just dealing with a lot of anxiety, some depression. And 90% of the time I'm good. But 10% of the time I can, like when I'm hanging out with friends, I can vent and I can think I have a very safe place and I'm just venting. They were picking up on it as you're just kind of negative. And it's not the whole time I'm with you, but every single time I see you, you have something that's negative. And that adds up. And it's like, we've all experienced that person. And I'm not a writer. I'm not saying this is you. I'm using even myself as an example here. I was maybe being a bit of an energy vampire. Those people where you can hang out with them for an hour and they leave and they walk out of the door and you're just like, I'm drained.
Because the person you're with was a suckafee. They were
Something
sucking the life out of you.
And, my friend, I was dealing with a lot. They recognized that, but they were like, we've been friends for so long. Like I know you're a good person. I know you're positive. I know you're going through a lot, but I think it's something you maybe didn't even realize that you were doing. And to be honest, I didn't. All that to be said, something is going on with your friends, something that upset them. Maybe they've grown apart from you, whatever it is. but I think you do need to reach out and at least get an answer so that you don't, move on and make new friends and repeat this. If it's not these girls, it could happen again. So I would want to know what the issue is if it were me.
And I would also say being passive aggressive by not doing anything is not going to help. So that's why I really, either how you approach the words by saying, find one of them, talk to them. I say, sit down and say why. I would actually hit all three because they all did it and say, is there a reason that I hurt you guys or why you want to hurt me? Because either way, it opens up the can of worms and makes them spill it. But it's however you feel comfortable to ask that question. It gets to the point. There is something going on, and let's just really hit it right on, because you said it yourself. They're part of your family. They're dating your brothers.
Boyfriend's brothers.
So there's definitely a connection here that they're not going, if you guys get married, whatever happens,
could be all stuck with each other.
Right now you're stuck. So you better get this wall torn down and find out what's going on. And if they have good reason, hopefully they'll share it. Take the criticism as constructive and ponder it.
For sure. And it could be hard. Doesn't feel good being told, something you've been doing has been disgruntling a person you care about. I would be curious to know, have you reached out in a group chat with all of them asking if you did something, and are they ignoring you? If that's the case, I think you would have to reach out to just one of them, because you could text all of them and be like, hey, can we all sit down and talk? You might get ignored. They might have a separate group chat now and it's so catty. It's so dumb. And I will say, even after you get these answers, I don't think these are the type of people I would want to be friends with.
Typically, you're absolutely right, but it'll be interesting to see what they have to say. There could be something that was very, that you did something very powerful that really hurt them, and you're unaware. We just don't know. So that's why you really have to, responsibly not be passive aggressive. You have to really have a discussion to see what it really is coming down to. And I've always found when you head things off at the pass, honestly, and, with true concern, it usually you get the answer and you're able to figure out and possibly fix it.
Keep us posted. And if any of you guys have gone through friend struggles, please write us and let us know. I know we have one friend that hops on Group T quite a bit. She's going on maternity leave here, maybe even had her little baby. But she went through a lot of friend struggles, and one day woke up and her friends were not her friends. It happens to people. But if you've gone through this, please, comment on the YouTube, on Instagram. It's hard. Friend struggles are hard. And if you've been through it and have had good resolutions, please tell us how. Keep us posted.
We're going to move on to number 3.
One of this week's partners is Haya. Do you remember the vitamins your parents would give you when you were little? Tasted like candy. Didn't feel like it had a lot of good stuff in it, to be honest. And that's the problem with a lot of children's vitamins. They're basically candy in disguise, filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that growing kids should never eat. This is why Haya was actually created. Haya is a pediatrician-approved, super-powered, chewable vitamin. Haya is made with 0 sugar and 0 gummy junk, yet it tastes good enough for even the pickiest of eaters. They have a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies that are then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. And if that wasn't enough of a reason to try Haya, these are non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and basically everything else you can imagine. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/FKS. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/FKS and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Number 3. Hi, Jerry, Morgan, Justin, and RIP Holly. I'm a longtime listener, but I've never written in before. I need help. I have broken up with my boyfriend, male, 25, of 3 years. I am a 29-year-old female. Since a young age, I've always wanted/needed to be married and have kids. That's been the one true thing I've always wanted in my life. Our relationship was perfect. It was everything. A year and a half ago, I told him I was wanting to get married and have kids. He agreed and said one day. Then, about a year ago, I expressed that it was very important to me and told him I wanted him to have a goal in mind, at least as we had been dating for 2 years. Christmas passed, and so did Valentine's Day. When I got to my birthday 3 months ago, I got really upset because I'm 29 and we have been living an hour away. I still have to call my dad for any help that I need. I felt as though I had a part-time partner. He hadn't made any steps after that to propose, so I broke up with him. We got back together briefly as he wanted to take me ring shopping. He bought a ring, but just decided not to use it yet. I had to end things because I am making myself crazy over this. I own my own home an hour away. I have a dog, a cat, chickens, a fish to look after, as well as my home. Due to religious reasons, I'm not willing to move in with him without a commitment. I guess I'm at a crossroad. I don't even know if we are compatible anymore due to the fact we have been just fighting the last 3 months. But I'm throwing away a beautiful 3-year-long relationship because I really need a stronger commitment. Am I making the right decision?
Only one that knows that is you yourself. You certainly have been open. You're dealing with a guy that's 4 years your junior. I don't know what place really he is and what he's really going through, so that's not fair for me to make these choices. But I will say one thing: you got to listen to yourself. And if you feel that you're in a place that you're hitting this biological clock and you don't have a guy that's participating and doesn't, he's not biting in, then you do what you do. And if nature wakes him up and he wants to come fight for you and get you back and you're still around, hey, that's something else to talk about. But you're moving on with your life to go find someone that's going to appreciate you and be your person. He just may not be your person.
Yeah. It's hard. I think you get to a point, 28, 29, I started to get like a little itch about it because there's a lot of pressure, the biological clock thing that always comes up and blah, 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 blah. But you really do have to keep in mind more so, is this the right person for you? Take away the marriage thing because that's stressing you out. Maybe it's making you a little crazy. Is this someone you could see being a partner? Do you communicate well? Is he making some sacrifices to, or compromises to make the relationship work? Aside from the marriage thing, you have someone who lives an hour away. You've been dating for 3 years. There's no talk of a compromise. You sell your house and move closer. He moves close or moves in with you. Like, there's been no talk of that.
No action of it.
No action.
No action.
So you have someone that just seems compatibility is not there. And I get that sunken cost fallacy of it's been 3 years and,
better if you're going to walk, if it's not going to work, it's best not working now and go forward.
Yeah.
And like I said, if he finds out and wakes up quick enough and you're still around to open that door, hey. But if not, he doesn't wake up, you didn't lose anything. You went on and you went forward and you'll heal. You'll be, you're going to have to go through some realignment within your own emotions, and you will. Mm-hmm. And then you'll be healthy and ready to rock and roll. And the right person, who the next person you'll be attracted to, or the person after that, you'll be on your way. You just can't force this because you're saying, I'm already 3 years invested in this and, I'm ahead of the game. And if it takes him another year, I'm still in better. It's not a negotiation. It's really got to be right.
Yeah. And I will say 1.5 years in to really start putting the pressure on someone for marriage, like he is only 25. He could be at a very different, spot in life than you are at 29. 25, I wouldn't have wanted to get married. So you might, age-wise, he just might not be at the same spot as you. And then only a year and a half in, he's like, oh, this is really fast. I think with the right person, 3 months can feel great. They're ready for marriage. You know, there's some people that get married after 2 weeks. There's some people that know after a year. The right person will be right. This just isn't, you guys aren't aligning. And I would say, like, the next relationship, don't try to put so much pressure on, I'm 29, my clock is ticking, I need to be married in a year for kids and blah, 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 blah. It will all work out. Don't add that added layer of stress into the relationship, because that's a lot of pressure to meet someone and be like, yeah, I want to be married in a year. Find the right person. Don't just find the person that will marry you.
Right.
That's not what you want.
I have been in relationships where I've met somebody and said, I'd marry her tomorrow. And then I've had people that I've dated and said, just maybe. And then you finally just say, it ain't maybe, this is just the wrong direction. So, you know, it could happen that fast, or it can never happen.
Yeah. I will say, like, ideal outcome here, to learn how to move forward after we have made such a mess of this relationship, or advice on moving on and finding someone who's a bit more serious. I would say, like, finding someone who is similar in age or maybe a little older than you could be good. Someone that's, like, more ready to settle down versus, 25, just a couple years out of college, still really wanting to adventure, experience that life. Not that you can't at 31, 35, whatever.
Sometimes timing really plays in.
Yeah,
You could have been with the right person 3 times, 3 different right people, but the wrong timing.
I don't know how I feel about that, though, because I feel like if it's the right person, timing isn't so.
I've heard of this every way. I mean, I'm an expert. I've been engaged once. I bought a ring another time, but I've been engaged once.
Yeah.
And I got engaged to her pretty quick. I would say within, 5 months of knowing her. And it didn't go that direction. We ended up breaking up. I wasn't the right one for her when she finally, came to that term. Didn't matter. She was the right one for me. I wasn't the right one for her, which ultimately means we weren't the right ones for one another. And it was hard. I'm not going to kid anybody out here. It was a tearjerker, but you move on and you fall in love again. I've been in love a few times in my life, and they were all good times. They all were deep. They all had right feeling. They were all different, but it's okay. You'll find, if this is not the person, then when the next person does show up, they do. Yeah.
A little bit more info. There is a lot of parentheses, Morgan's favorite topic, enmeshment. His mother has always told him not to rush. She doesn't want to be a grandma yet. She's tried to split us up, so he had to move out of his parents' place. She calls him her favorite kid and means it. His dad keeps telling us proudly that he didn't propose for 7 years. They also both tell him he needs to be drinking and partying more and not worrying about marriage. He is seeking counseling, but it feels a little too late. Please also know the age gap was never a problem before, as we both grew up having to work the family business at around 8. But the mom doing everything for him is a big thing for the age gap. Thank you so much for everything you do for your little community. We appreciate you guys.
And then I think you also have to figure out, do you want a man? Or you want a boy? Think about that one.
Yeah. Age gap with you guys didn't bother me so much. I think he's just not in the same place you are.
Okay. We're going to move on. Number 4.
Another one of this week's partners is Hungry Root. Life is busy. It's busy for all of us. And the last thing a lot of us want to do is put extra time into things we don't love, which for me is meal planning, grocery shopping, and cooking itself, which is where Hungry Root can come in. Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. They send you fresh, high-quality groceries, simple, delicious recipes, and essential supplements right to your door. My favorite part about getting Hungry Root is they get to know you, what you're trying to accomplish, what your dietary restrictions are, all of it. So for me and Justin, we're both trying to eat really healthy. He's got a dairy allergy. We can check all those boxes and get only items we can actually eat and are gonna love. And it's fully customizable. Everything Hungry Root has sent has tasted amazing, especially the breakfast options and the snacks. And if you need any more reason to give it a shot, Hungry Root follows a simple standard. It's gotta taste good, be quick to make, and contain whole, trusted ingredients. You really can't go wrong. Right now, Hungry Root is offering Father Knows Something listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/FKS to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/FKS. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. Number 4. Hi, Jerry, Morgan, and Justin. Hope you're having a nice day. I listen to you all the time, and your advice always speaks to me in some way. This is my first write-in. I, female 27, and my boyfriend, male 29, have been together for almost 5 years now and have lived together for 4. We have a cat named Coconut, and we're basically building a life together. Even though we have our disagreements, our communication is on point, especially since we both go to therapy individually. We always find a way to talk things out and grow together. I really can't complain. I think I've found the love of my life, and I'm sure he thinks the same. But here's the problem. I've felt ready to get married for the past 2 years, and I've told him that at the time. He said that we could think about it later since he felt like we were too young and not ready mentally and financially. Now it's been 2 years, and his stance has not changed. It has actually evolved. He now says that he doesn't feel the need to get married at all and has no intention of ever doing it. Ever. I can't lie. I'm angry. It's been my dream for so long. The white dress, the party, and everything else. But more than anything, the promise of a life together. I told him it's really important to me, but he says that he doesn't really understand why I find it so important, and none of his friends find it necessary. He added that it's not going to happen anytime soon, and that was kind of it. He seems upset every time I try to bring the argument back, so I just kind of gave up. I feel betrayed, and I don't know what to do. I love him so much, and we have a life together, but I really can't let go of the idea of a marriage and a wedding. What's your advice to feel better with this whole situation?
Well, when you start going out with somebody and they say, one day I'd like to have children. You get married and you're waiting and they say, we're not having children yet. And you go, but why not? Well, I made a decision. I don't want to have children. I really don't want kids. But you invested all those years because you guys talked in the beginning that you wanted kids.
Mm-hmm.
This guy said, eventually we would talk about getting married. And now he's saying, marriage? I'd never want to do that. Ever. My answer is this doesn't match what was demonstrated to you as part of, and if you want to use the word deal, when you first started going out. And he has now pulled that up, that whole main selling point, what made you go out with him, off the table. You've been betrayed. That's just the way that I take it. Now, some people might have a different feeling on this, but yeah. I look at it that he literally went a different direction. It's not too late for you to turn around and say, something? I get that you don't ever want to be married. I really respect that. And as you see my ass walking out the door with my suitcase, you'll realize that that's okay for you, but it's not okay for me, and I'm moving on.
Yeah, I do think people are fully entitled to change their minds, their opinions on things, especially, marriage and kids. And I don't fucking know. There's certain big things. I think like when you're dating and you're in the stages of getting to know someone and building your life and relationship together, I think there's big things like that you should align on. And I get everyone can change, but I think him changing is just kind of demonstrating he might not be the right person. There is an ideal outcome and a little bit more info.
You've been holding out.
Ideal outcome. At this point, I just want to forget about marriage and not feel sad every time I see someone getting married. I want to find a healthy way to give up this dream that's maybe a little childish. He's really perfect, and I want to spend my life with him.
Well, that's your decision.
But I don't think I don't think the dream of getting married is childish.
No.
I think that there's a lot there that some people don't find the need to get married. Some people find it's just a piece of paper and they can fill out their health directives and power of attorney and it covers the bases they want to cover. But some people find that commitment to one another beautiful. Exchanging of vows, whatever they are, is so meaningful and powerful to them. Like, there is nothing childish about this. And if this is a dream of yours, I don't think you need to give it up. I know there are people out there that do give up the dream of marriage to stay with the person that doesn't want to get married. Sometimes it works for them, sometimes it doesn't, and it turns into a post 20 years down the line from when they gave up that dream of marriage. Something that feels so special to you, I don't think is something you should just write off and figure out how to get over it.
I fully agree with that. This is important. You've made it very clear. This was important to you, is important to you. And now you're trying to change the game so you can keep the guy. Like I said, this is up to you, but I don't see it. If you're asking me as a dad, what would I advise you on this, or you as my child? But the answer would be, you get to make your own choices and decisions. But if you're asking me my thought, I wouldn't compromise myself for this. I would only compromise myself for the person that's willing to give me everything that I would want. And then you can talk about compromise if we need to compromise something else in life.
Yeah.
But he's not willing to go any distance for you on this thing. It's a one-way deal. And he's basically saying to you, if this is the way I am, if it's not the way for you, there's the door. And you can easily say, I got the message received. I'm taking the door.
Additional info, his parents are divorced and he hasn't had a good relationship with his immediate and large family.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a wedding might be stressful for him. He has also said that he wouldn't be against wedding rings on our fingers to seal the deal, but it was my idea, not his. He then said he would take the ring off during family functions and with big groups of friends because he doesn't want uncomfortable questions to be asked.
What happens if you guys eloped and you didn't have this huge wedding? You had a small, more intimate wedding and you got married. The bottom line is that
he's even uncomfortable wearing a ring, though, around his friends.
Because then he would have to answer, you got married? You didn't tell us?
Yeah, I got married. We eloped. We wanted to be intimate.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing.
But
he doesn't want to get married ever.
Good. Then he can stay single as long as he wants. You don't have to.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about, maybe he's not ready, but he's not saying that to you. He's saying he doesn't want to get married ever. Mm-hmm. I put myself in a similar shoe to you. Me and Justin, he proposed after 5 years. At year 3, I really started to have these conversations with him. Like, do you want to get married? Are we going down that route? I think those are fair conversations to have. I kind of told him how I feel. Like, I would like to be engaged by year 5. Like, year 6 rolls around. That's where I start to that's like a little long for me because I do want marriage. I do want kids. I do want certain things. And that's okay if you don't. But I do.
That's right.
So that just means we're not aligned. I don't feel that's an ultimatum. I don't feel that's guilt tripping. You're telling them what you want, mm-hmm. and the ball is in their court.
Correct.
I mean, you could say, hey, I want to take a break. I want to, see if you decide if I'm important enough for you to maybe reconsider marriage or whatever. I don't know. I think you're kind of at a point where it is give up the dream and be with this person, or it's time to maybe move on. Whether that's starting with a break and seeing if you're happier. You're not going to be happier apart initially. I'll tell you that right now. But, like working towards getting what you want. This is a really tough one, but I
don't see this one as tough.
I get, they have the little coconut cat and this life. And when you start building, with someone and he's perfect, it's only this.
This is huge.
I don't know if the perfect person would.
This is a one-way deal.
Shoot down.
This is
such
not
an important thing to you.
This is not compromise. This is not trying to say, honey, I'd give this, I would do anything in the world for you. Where she would say, I would do everything in the world. He is not willing to do everything in the world for you, yet you are looking on how do I get rid of this desire I've had all my life and this
it's tough.
This focus, this goal, and I'm just going to blow it out. Sorry.
I would love to know everyone's thoughts on this one. Do you think she should stay, sacrifice this want of hers, or does she go? I say it with action. And when you say it with action, that's really, you've had these conversations, you already know the answer. Your answer is, I wish you luck in what's good, what's important to you, and I hope you wish me luck what's important to me. Yeah.
And walk out the door and see what happens. And you may just be out the door and you're going to be going forward in your life with looking for someone else, or maybe he'll wake up. But either way, you're going to have you're having forward movement. You're not going to be stagnant. And you're standing up for yourself. You're standing up for what you want. And I think that's power. And you're taking your own power. And I tip my hat to people that take their own power.
Yeah. And if you have been someone who gave up a dream of marriage or maybe kids or something big to keep your relationship, how do you feel about it? How has it worked out for you? Please, please, please comment, because I think if this were me, and I gave up something so, so, so big to keep up a relationship, I think I would develop a lot of resentment. And that's a big thing to get over too.
And that would be common.
So please comment if you've gone through this. Our writer could probably really use it, because I don't envy the position you're in. It's a tough one. But keep us posted, please. Anyone that we respond to, we do have an update form. It's a separate Google Doc from where you write in. It is linked in the description of the show, the YouTube notes. You can find it pretty much everywhere, our link tree. So please update us. We want to know how these stories turned out.
And they also do the write-ins by looking in there as well, because I had people that have
you can write in. It's in the description. Very clear Google form. It says like write to dad or us, and it's there. There's some prompts and you fill it out.
Okay, we're going to move to number 5.
Number 5.
Here we go.
This episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp. Have you been practicing your self-care? I know this time of year can be busy and we've got a lot going on, and self-care or positive coping strategies can really slip or get pushed to the side, which can also negatively impact our mental health. So even if you feel like you have no time for yourself, you should have some non-negotiables like good self-care and maybe therapy. I myself have loved online therapy in the past. I love the convenience of it, being able to take sessions from the comfort of my home or car. It just made therapy really approachable and maintainable for me, especially with a busy schedule. So if you're thinking of starting therapy yourself, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/FKS today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/FKS. Trigger warning on this next one, you guys. It does contain talks of eating disorders, so if you feel that you can't handle that, please skip ahead to the next one. Am I overreacting to weight questions in a relationship? Me and my boyfriend have been dating since 2017. He has brought up my weight a couple of times, but I've changed my diet, worked out, and my job is super physical. I work cleaning and fixing pool equipment in Florida. He has been hinting to marriage, but last week he told me he doesn't find me attractive and I should work out more. I feel like I didn't take the talk well because I believed we were on a good path. How do I explain I'm trying my best? Are there any other ideas on losing weight? How do I not blow up after that talk?
I understand the frustration with weight that I'm going through, even myself right now. And I am trying different things that I've done that have worked, and I'm trying things now that are new. But that's something that I'm doing because of me, not because somebody else doesn't find me attractive.
Yeah.
And when someone says that to you, you have to really say, I imagine you've been this way when they met you.
Our writer does add in the additional info, I've been on the thicker side since day one on this earth. I get super upset when people tell me I'm fat or I should lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I have struggled with eating disorders and depression all of my life.
When someone loves you, it really doesn't matter after they really, that's not where the attractiveness always comes from. Sometimes the attractiveness or the lack of it, because something emotionally happens that makes it, respect goes away. I've had it in all different fashions. So I mean, I'm only speaking from my own experiences, but if he's having some issues, tell him, fine, go take your hike and I'll find someone that, loves me for who I am. If you are not happy with yourself and you want to do something about it, make that decision for yourself and be literally on your regimen, because that's what you want.
But it's what you want.
That's right.
It's not someone talking about marriage and holding that carrot above your head and then saying, but hold up, before we get married,
you got to take off 35 pounds.
I'm actually not attracted to you. That feels psychologically manipulative. That feels like what the fuck just happened here?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get healthier, do it for you.
Right.
But the thing is, it's not like you even sound unhealthy. Some people's bodies, we're all built so different. We all have different bone densities. We all have different metabolisms. We all have different hormone levels. We all have different differences.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is going to be the supermodel thin. I'm not one of those people. I'm like you. Always had some thick to me. You have changed your diet. You work out. Your job is physical. Like, it seems like you're doing good. You're just being you. So for him to tear you down, maybe even knowing about your history that you've struggled with, that seems cruel.
I'm not happy with it.
And I think there is something to be said like about attraction. Like, it's not always physical. So for some people it is. But if he's not attracted to you, okay, bye.
Yeah, I've always found it to be very mental.
I think there's two types of people. I think there's people that or maybe three types. There's people that are very all in one package, and sexuality is there's just such a spectrum to it. There's some people that are only attracted to people that they emotionally connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are physical. Some people are purely, mental and humor. Some people are all of it. We're all so different. We're all there's lots going on up in everyone's head, but I don't think someone who loves you for you and appreciates you would put pressure on you to lose weight to attain their love or attain a commitment or progress forward towards things like marriage.
Obviously, if it's not right, she needs to consider the relationship. And is this the person she really wants to have a life with?
Absolutely.
Because if he can bail this quick, this is someone you want to be, think about spending the next 30 years with, 40 years. Life is long. It's a long time.
But also way too short to be with the wrong person.
Absolutely not.
DTD.
Do not.
Dump the dude.
Doing this show, I looked at a relationship I was in and I just said, all the markers don't match. I need to go save both of us.
Mm-hmm. And
even though I may not have gone on a date since, it didn't matter. At least I I freed up the ability for her to get healthy or to decide, to get over whatever what we were, and me too, to go get healthy and move on, go to find the person that would fill all these markers. If they exist, maybe they don't. I don't know, but I wasn't going to take somebody else's valuable time because it was wrong. It wasn't right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 5.
We've got one more.
We do.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing. She's got a number 6.
Number 6.
Here we go.
Hi, Jerry and family. Longtime listener here, but first time writing in. I, 36 female, have been with my husband, 39 male, for 10 years and married for 8. We have 2 beautiful children, 2 and 6. He is overall a good guy and good dad for our 2 boys. The issue is that we have no time or energy for each other, as much as we do not have any babysitters or network where we stay. But the main issue is that we have major communication issues. I experience that often when I talk, he will not in any way acknowledge that he is listening, which again will trigger me, and I admit I tend to break things and/or start shouting. I'm not proud of this, but to make matters worse, it is often that our kids are present and see and hear everything. I feel horrible for this, and my only concern is for their well-being. I'm afraid that we are creating mental issues for them. Whenever I react like that is when my husband will start shouting back and scolding me for reacting like that. I honestly don't know what to do. He is also from a different country. I have stated many times that a divorce would be best, but I'm willing to wait until he gets his permanent visa. But for some reason, he doesn't want it, and I just don't understand why. I'm not happy the way things are, and I can't imagine he is. Whenever he has some free time, he sits down with his phone. He will often not come out of the room after he puts our youngest to bed, sometimes sleeping and other times on his phone. The only times I see him after the kids' bedtime is when he has training or wants to watch sports on TV. It breaks my heart that he never put in the effort for me and our marriage, and it's gotten to the point where I actually feel resentment towards him at times. Sorry for the length of this. How can we move forward with this? Ideal outcome, to start communicating and fix our marriage, or divorce while we can still stand the sight of each other. Additional info, we started couples counseling, but he is not willing to be able to get time off of work to continue doing this.
Well, everything that I was thinking is already apparent. And I started to think, as this was going, I go, if someone's going to have an affair, they certainly will find the time for that. But of course, I don't have to worry about the kids because someone's babysitting already, the spouse.
You.
So, the lack of communication and whatever's going on, the breakdown in the marriage, the only thing that's going to save this thing is counseling and communicating and opening these doors and the desire even to go do it. Because saying, well, I'm going to go to counseling doesn't mean you have the desire to really to make it work and succeed. Mm-hmm. So both of you would really have to want this. And if you don't, then you've got the right answer. This has got to go, to a 2-household, multiple household environment where you're going to have your kids being raised by cooperating parents. And
I think that's best.
Yeah. And if you can't, but again, that's the decision that he gets to make. And if he's not
willing, they both get to make.
Well, she made the decision saying, I want to go to counseling. I'm willing to do it.
And he's not willing.
He's the one that's backed down, and he's the one that's finding an excuse not to go. He doesn't find the priority of it.
So at that point,
that's where he's making this decision.
And you don't have a willing participant. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you don't have a partner.
Right.
You have someone that's unwilling to get divorced, maybe due to the visa, but I don't see any other reason tying you two together. Your kids aren't a good enough reason because you're creating a hostile, unhealthy environment for them.
I have a question for you. Does she need his permission to go file for divorce?
Probably not, but I think she is also trying to have him get a visa so her kid's dad can stay in the country, which I understand doing. I would probably want to do the same thing. You know, whether that's a year or 2 years of you staying legally married, whatever.
In separate households. Yeah.
Separate. You yelling and breaking things and then him shouting back, and your kids, they're 2 and 6.
That's the most unhealthy thing in the world.
That is going to stick with them. Parents fighting, yelling, there's so many studies on it. It can change the way your kids' brains develop. It is so toxic for kids. I mean, it's just not, it's not worth it. And your main concern, you said it, your main concern is their well-being. I don't know what else you do that isn't moving out, honestly. Like you need to separate.
Right. If he's not willing to make a marriage, then you need to move out.
I mean, you have someone who I can't even imagine constantly, because we all can experience this, right? Where, you know, our partner tries to talk to us and they might be looking at their phone as we start talking and they don't pay attention right away. But imagine that is every single time you try to talk to your partner. No matter when, no matter how, no matter what it's about, you talk to them and it's like you might as well be talking to fucking Rocco from Sesame Street.
Then I would have a Rocco puppet and not the guy.
I mean, it's just like, that would be so disheartening, degrading, and your yelling isn't great. Breaking things isn't great. I think you should go to individuals therapy for that. Work on that, your emotional regulation.
Triggers.
But by the sounds of it, you know, you're getting to the point of the straws breaking the camel's back. This is just proving to not be working. It's not healthy.
Well, let me ask you this, Morgan.
Okay.
If she is unable to get him to go for help. Okay. And he doesn't want to get a divorce, and they're still fighting day and night. Is it more important for you that she says, sorry, dude, the locks are changed, go find another place?
I think there's also something to be said about young kids having their dad. And so I don't want to see him get deported. That's so.
But he's got to take a position to that. She's not forced to live in this environment and this hostility.
No, but I think there's something to be said where if they separate and it gets very clear we are done, we can stay, married, they might even get to a spot where they can healthily cohabitate. I don't know. I'm not in it.
I'm for that. But I said if they can't.
If they can't, then he might have to go find an apartment. And they don't necessarily have to get divorced, but he's at least in his own apartment. They could do their own custody agreement, 50-50. They can be working on their marriage, and hopefully he can still, get his visa. But this isn't working right now.
You got to protect the kids before you do anything. The protection of the kids is very important. And that means the mental health of the kids and not being in the fighting environment.
Yeah, and I will say,
you got to be in a non-abusive relationship.
And I've been around a lot of yelling. Sometimes we turn out mostly okay, but it's not just that. You have a husband who is unwilling to work towards any betterment of the relationship, and therefore you can't move forward with him.
That was the theme of our show. If they're not willing to be a part of the solution.
Damn.
And they're the problem.
Maybe we change the theme.
That's it. If they're not part of the solution,
get out.
Then they're the problem.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna think about that.
You ponder that.
I do have a Patreon from this theme. It is a very good one.
Let's do it.
It's gonna need you guys chiming in and giving your takes on it as well. So head over to Patreon. It's gonna be in the first tier this month. But really hope to see some of you over there.
Also, I want to say a hello to a wonderful little situation that happened during the week of last week. I was in Denver and I had an Uber driver.
Yeah.
And we were talking by the end of the ride of an hour and a half of driving around. Somehow we got onto the topic of the the podcast. And I went into Home Depot and I came out and he says, my friend watches you and your show.
Sophie, right?
Sophia.
Sophia.
So we are going to say hello to Sophia.
Hello.
And thanks for watching and being a part of the family.
Thank you to everyone. I mean, you guys, we would not be here doing this show without you. You keep Dad's lights on. You keep this show rolling. So thank you. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for following, subscribing. His favorite thing, working towards that plaque.
Hit that button.
But thank you for being here. You know, no matter how you listen, where you listen, we do really appreciate it. It makes this all worth it.
And to all, and again, I'm going to just reconfirm you what you just said. We say hello to all of you, and we've met a lot of you that we do communicate with and talk to, because we have met you and we don't forget you at all.
No.
And so this is sending love to all of you.
I know. I remember so many names. Justin and I just met Katie at a grocery store. I met Bree when I went and got my first blowout ever. You guys, you mean a lot to us, and you really do. You stick with us, all of you. So we appreciate you all.
So we'll see you next week, and jump in the backyard. Let's go to Patreon. We'll see you there.
Bye.